One versus PotisEye has got to hurt, but if you look at the points, I mean, this is their game to lose right now, Takata.
Yeah, I mean, back-to-back end games, back-to-back second places. To be fair, it could be worse. I mean, there are 10 duos that are qualifying through consistency, and they're getting the practice in. They're getting the experience. They're getting the feel of some of these lobbies back in Major 2. I mean, it was funny. The stat that popped up, too, not only in their first game of Heat 1 and Major 1 did they get second place to Thomas HD, but also Thomas 1. So a lot of deja vu going around, but this time around they broke that deja vu, getting second again. Mini, are they gonna make it a three-piece or what?
Well, we will see. I mean, they played that endgame really well, though. I was really impressed with how they took high off of Syaz and Scary. They understood that that was the time, of course. Syaz and Scary were a little bit static. They almost gave the indication, the little signal that they were running low on those builds, and they took that opportunity so well. And even when Shark and Teeny were on high as a duo, Teeny was just jumping in boxes. We saw it just there in the highlights as well. These guys just have so much ability. Then that game makes you think, oh, maybe they do still have that bad game in them as well. So it'll be interesting to see how they develop throughout today and, of course, the rest of the season.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting just thinking back to Pablo and Chino overall. From 24 to 25, they didn't have high expectations. After 2025 was one of the best, some of the best players in the world. Expectations for 2026 were really high, but now at Summit, they got 14, kind of in mid-end of the leaderboard. Now Major 2, they're looking quite strong. I mean, despite that match that didn't go too well, they're still at the top end, so hopefully they can kind of pull through and show what they're truly capable of.
I don't think anyone would underestimate these guys. I'd say they're the second best fully Danish duo, right? If they're following up after Sky and Scroll, the most consistent duo. We're on page 2 of the standings now rather than page 1. So you can see that Hami and Hari there, they've gone up 10th places, so the climb is on. They'll be very happy with where they are. They're currently within contention, being within the top 15. Swizzy and Pixie, keep an eye on them as well. I think from game to game, they're going to go from strength to strength, but also Syaz and Scary. 13th at the moment to Cartoon. You made a bold prediction going to the show that they would win a victory royale in game number 3. In fact, you were slightly panicked watching that last game that they were going to do it in game number 2, but obviously ran out of materials, couldn't quite pull it off against Sharkantini's contestation.
We talked about how they like taking risks, right? How they like being confident, and they took that risk of going for heights so early on. They were on, 11 sets, sticks and stones, like 100 builds, all wood, and getting contested by Sharkantini when you got like 50 wood builds is not really the position you want to be in. So they did have a primed up elevation on height, but they just took it a little too early with the amount of resources they had available. So hopefully here in game 3, they can make some switch up.
do feel like it might be better for the competitive integrity of this lobby if you just have the first peeking at the start of it. I mean, that caster's curse, it is steep, and now we have to see whether or not it's going to remain exclusively on Takada here in Game 3.
Am I allowed back in? Quite seen enough of. There's a couple that comes to mind for me. I don't want to call anyone out just yet. We'll get there. Don't worry. We will start to call people out, especially in game 4 and 5. But I think this game will be a big one in terms of starting to see people pick up the pace a little bit. Kiddo and Prax have been enjoying their off spawns here. We'll see if that continues to be the case. A bit more of a split this time. Both teams going to get the chance to loot up and farm up. Not a wealth of chests available to Wurs, but they'll have to make the best of it.
Bus stop, not exactly kind of landmark that you can afford to split evenly. These two teams, they're going to have to bang on Bentley and Prax. Kidduo, they're already trying to make sure that they come out on the winning end of it yet again. Because it's like you mentioned, Levin, these teams, they're not necessarily backs against the wall just yet here in lobby number 3, but this is technically speaking the halfway point. This is...
to Gambit. Shark getting involved in some early fighting themselves. And even with Teeny going down, they will come out on top, and so Teeny will be picked right back up. as their game continues, and that's a bad spot for the rest of the lobby, quite frankly, right? If these guys are able to just have their way and pick up some early limbs, some early dam, Surge isn't going to be an issue. They can just cruise through this one.
Then again, we've seen a lot of twos already today for Shark and Teeny. There's a little bit of a record here, and I don't think it's the kind of record that Shark is trying to beat with this three-peat of second placement. So
Well, that's the problem. For people who maybe aren't as tapped in, if you are newer to competitive Fortnite in 2026, before Shark became like best.
through the game as quickly as they can afford to, heading down to Heatwave Harbor so early on, but that third party, it doesn't take long for spoilers to sort of become that thorn in the side here. Teeny, though, will be able to apply a little bit of extra damage on the way out. Granted, he received some, and knowing that Teeny and Shark are going to be able to at least reconcile with each other, but Teeny's got to be careful, was going for the shield with Jen, and just like that, a player lurking, crouched next to a bush, catching him completely off guard, and with Shark just so low on HP, will have a brief moment to heal, but players are just quick to the jump. The moment that they spot a little bit of weakness here, they immediately try to see if they can capitalize on it fully, and if Shark goes down,
awfully messy here so far in this game. And at this point, success for Shark will just be staying alive unscathed and having an opportunity to reboot Teeny back into the game, which if he's patient enough, I think he will get.
see, but at the same time, Shark is like poised well enough where it's almost like he's hoping that he can find that isolated pick for a player that might just choose to try and run through the building, hunting him down. Chop shop. Fully aware of the fact that they've had to get a little involved, but still not enough pressure applied to them yet to really force them into any sort of unnecessary fighting. Likely having gotten the surge that they were already looking for, much more willing to just continue mapping things out with the rotation. They want to make sure that they are in a good spot to sort of position, box up, and wait to see what happens next. cut Shark off the moment that he tries to rotate out of here, but it doesn't look like he's trying to stick around. He wants to try and make his way towards the reboot as quickly as possible, because the longer this drags on, the more time that he has to spend without Teeny, it's just further delay. And while they're not necessarily a team that you'd be worried about being able to rebuild Surge or positioning on, it's still just enough of a dampener to slow them down.
But again, the team of their quality, we've seen them in that position, right? I've seen them have games where, you know, they've rebooted around all the way across the map and they're still making waves in the end game. So wouldn't be too concerned. It'll be interesting to see where they're at when we next check in. Oh, what do we have here?
Close and personal right now with Kira, but have to remember where is Walks through all of this. As Will and Scrap continue to attack the same line of sight, they could potentially find themselves a losing angle against Walks, who has now opted to just ramp upwards. Full oversight, and Kiro will join him. The material count just working out pretty heavily right now. Let's look at what Cammy's been up to so far. All right, Cammy. You all right? You said Cammy can't get PC, you know? You might be needing to switch up that role.
Yeah, man.
Cammy, IGL? I'm not sure. The G might stand for Fragger now.
It might. I mean, to be honest, after the last game Hari had, I think he deserves to keep that title. A big clutch from him when Cammy went down at the beginning of the end game, and he was able to make his way all the way through to that final moving zone, which isn't an easy thing to do. When you're a player of Hari's quality, it's something that's always possible.
CK and Waza, though, start to make their way, create a little bit of distance, a little bit of a gap here away from where Vadil and Ju were at, kind of recognizing the fact that they were in a bit of a disadvantageous spot from will tick back over in their favor, but still sitting just 6 above now means they're still going to have to continue trying to look for those opportunities to get additional damage online. It's going to take a bit. These end games have been relatively stacked too. And that's been one of the bigger reasons why we've been seeing Surge just kind of play a part for so long into these end games. Some of the elimination aggression that they'd opened up this lobby with. Still, if height has been their ultimate goal here, a team like Swizzy and Pixie are bound to sort of continue to kind of play a problem to that. But Shark and Teeny, they have definitely been getting very aggro in this lobby, just sort of scouting out every... X-Force and Bevies, though, switching things up just a little bit here. Much calmer scenes for this duo, having a little bit more luxury to sort of decide where they want to try and apply some aggression.
Yeah, and these guys are a team that I think many people sort of going into this will be probably looking at as like one of those surprise teams, right? A team that might just get the correct zone pull in a game and all of a sudden you're seeing them fighting for first place. Sias and Scary, another opportunity on height, and I think the big difference with this game versus last game is they don't have to worry about Shark and Teeny taking high ground off of them, and so we'll see if they can hold on to it stronger. With the trees to help them keep it, potentially.
opportunity here. Try and play for the revive. Instead, he might just opt zone, pulling a little bit too quickly here. The deal just knows not a lot of time left.
What a spot. The play from the bushes from low ground. I love what I'm seeing from Swizzy and Pixie here. Can they continue to impress us in this lobby? You'd have to.
Pulling back though, Pixie, Swizzy, they've managed to manifest some big instances here on the low ground. 2 eliminations now for Pixie.
Don't drop into Pixie's box. He ain't ducking from any smoke, and Swizzy will look to join the party with him now as well. They have control, but just for a moment, they need the elim for the material, and unfortunately, that will lead to them overexpending.
Good news though. Maybe I messed up the script a little bit. It wasn't Saya Scary's Spanish duo that was gonna win game 3, and Godoy Polo did exactly that from 45th place. It was not looking good for them. 3 points going into this match, but they got the job done, and all you need is a win in the heats. So we'll be seeing them in the grand finals.
Yeah, very convenient that it was some sort of link there to your prediction to Carl. Imagine if they began with S. Yep.
That are going to win these upcoming matches.
Yeah, we'll definitely be talking about some of these mid-table teams after the break, because they are definitely someone we should be talking about. I mean, Vidil and Ju, actually, like, when I think of Reason, obviously I always go straight to thinking of Vidil, because of the fact that these guys played together in the past, both making it to the stage at Summit as well. So there are some really interesting relationships between some of these teams. But as you can see there, Polo and Godoy on the high ground, mini minor, and this is really where the victory began.
Yeah, and even before that as well, the way that they actually took high off Science and Scare, we actually had a really nice sort of drone footage shot.
cannot believe there are only 2 more games of Heat 1 remaining tonight, but it's going to be so exciting to see who can clutch those final victory royales and get their tickets to next weekend grand finals. We've got some enormously consistent teams in the lobby tonight who must be feeling so confident knowing that there are just 2 games remaining. So let's take a look at the leaderboard and see who...
to the major finals. Remember, they didn't have a very good time in the heats at all. So it's actually really nice to see these guys finding their form yet again, finding some consistency in the off-spawn stage of the game, which is where they really struggled before. And here, of course, Swizzy clutching up, knowing what he does, knowing what he can do. Of course, has these endgame moments. He's been in these situations so many times. So you expect to see these guys in this position. It's nice to see that expectation being met.
I mean, they've been playing.
We have to take a look at the players in focus, powered by Milk. So, Miniminer, who's standing out to you?
Well, let's take a look at these stats right now. Yeah, Teeny with the most amount of eliminations, most amount of damage dealt. It's something that we spoke about earlier to Carter. This is a player that, you know, he's in a duo where he can be facilitated into getting eliminations, getting damage dealt as well. Both of them. A lot of people would maybe think Shark might be the player that's in.
So, although it's good that the solo clutch points are being picked up, hopefully we see a bit more chemistry and see some, you know, duo points getting picked up moving forwards.
Let's bring up the leaderboard again. Just a reminder, because I made this mistake earlier, if you take a look at the top 3, they've got over 1,000 points. That's because they've got a victory royale. So really, we're looking at 4th and below in terms of...
I think he had 2 second places in that, and that was all because of the deal in his duo Vampy right there. So it's good to see him back on form.
Yeah, and really good to see him actually resisting the violence and bringing it on himself in those final moments of the game, picking up those all-important elimination points. We are ready for game 4 though now, so let's head back to Taco and the Jinx. He's called 11-2K.
That is crazy. Or 11, you got to get your get back at some point here today, man. But no.
We've already seen after game 3 that even if your off-spawn situation was looking comfy to start the day, it doesn't mean it will remain that way. And so once more, we will see who has the better drops, who can get the better loot, and who can hit the crucial shots to send your opponents back to the lobby. Ooh.
Of points, but 16 Warriors just kind of heading towards the downstairs area of the bus stop, trying to see whether or not Kido and Prax are actually going to challenge them anytime soon here. But it's Kido coming back